Congressman Jody Arrington. He represents West Texas around Lubbock and Abilene. He's also a member of the House Ways and Means Committee, which is one of the committees you want to be on if you're serving in Congress. Congressman Arrington, great to see you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
All right, so give us an update on what you're hearing now. We heard reports of Nancy Pelosi working on our own COVID-19 relief bill. Are we going to get any news out of Congress today about both sides coming to an agreement?
Well, as you know, we've got to move quickly. Speed is the key here, and we can get it right. It's not like we should be irresponsible, making sure that the provisions are temporary and targeted and most effective at the rebound and recovery that we're looking for, and support for individuals, whether they're on leave. Hopefully we want them connected to employment for the long term with the least disruption, but there will be people laid off, and we've got to provide that support as well. But what we can't afford to do is have this process bogged down on policies that are irrelevant and non-germane to disaster relief and recovery. We can't be bogged down on environmental policies. We can't be bogged down on pension bailouts and some of these other things that I'm hearing are in the Pelosi bill. So now we're looking at introducing something that could make this much more protracted and could hurt our families and our businesses in the long run, especially working families and small businesses.
Well, I'm sure you're hearing the same arguments from Democrats. They're saying that this bill, Mitch McConnell's bill, is too top down. It doesn't do enough to support, the working class and, the people who actually, where the rubber meets the road when it comes to the economy. What do you say to those folks?
Well, I think we moved with great speed and in a bipartisan fashion on the paid sick and family leave. That was the model for how we should be working here. On this third tranche, we're talking about individual assistance. We're talking about SBA loans. We've widened the eligibility for that. We've reduced requirements so that we can move quickly and more nimbly in that regard. And then, of course, there's lending for distressed industries, most of which will be paid back. So I think what we've done is tried to make sure that when we finally get through this and we know we can manage it responsibly and we won't have a spike and an inundation to the health system, that people will go back to work. We want to connect people to their place of employment and have that continuity to the extent we can, recognizing we're going to have to build the capacity on unemployment insurance. All of that is in this bill that was outlined by the Republicans, Mitch McConnell. There will need to be negotiations, but they need to be germane. That's the key. They need to be relevant to the issue at hand, which is recovery, relief, and temporary assistance to get us to bridge this troubled time.
Congressman, next to you on the screen, I know you can't see this right now, but we were showing Senator Mitch McConnell speaking there on the floor of the Senate. We'll try to listen to that. But I want to also talk to you about what you're looking at in your specific district. We've talked a lot on this program about the oil industry and the dire shape it's in right now, partially because of the coronavirus and the shutdown of global economies, but also because of this price war between the Saudis and the Russians, really precipitated by Vladimir Putin, who wants to stick it to places like West Texas and North Dakota. By lowering the oil prices, it makes it hard to do business. What type of job losses are you looking at specifically in your district, and also what are we looking at countrywide when it comes to the oil industry?
Well, this price war and the fallout prior to the coronavirus was already very damaging, and now it's wholesale disastrous for the energy industry. I don't think your viewers need to be reminded, but I'll just say it. Having energy independence is critical for this country. We saw the problems with depending on foreign nations for our medical supplies. We cannot be dependent for our energy needs, and we're in a real precarious situation here. The president has, I think, appropriately responded by purchasing oil at a very good price that would help stabilize the prices and expand.
Given the fact, Congressman, that it is a global commodity and we can't obviously control the prices, how much good and how long can this go on, considering how quickly the price of oil has fallen and how the bad shape the industry is in right now?
Oh, I don't think you can sustain this. The independent oil and gas producers are taking a big hit. That's the abundance of the people I that I represent in West Texas are the smaller
Right.
family independent oil and gas companies. And yeah, we've got to do something to stabilize it, or they're going to put us wholesale out of business, and then we'll be in a much more tenuous situation with respect to our energy supply.
Yeah, that's one of those messages that you have to get out there. You know, a lot of people in this country, you know, they don't have the highest, you know, thoughts about the oil industry, but think about what life would be like without it in this country and some of these small producers, and how important that's been to our economy. It's hard to imagine. Congressman Jody Arrington, thank you for your time, sir. Stay safe there in Congress. We just reported on Rand Paul and Amy Klobuchar's husband, so we know it's not easy up there. Take care.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
All right, we're going to come back more here on Newsmax Now. If we